The icon is electric. Well, sort of. Electrified, at least. This is the new 911 GTS, and chief among the changes is the introduction of the Porsche T-Hybrid engine, which electrifies the brand's most famous car for the very first time. Now, it's faster than the model it replaces, but it also fundamentally alters the formula that has made the 911 such a global phenomenon. The question is, does it alter it for the better? Stick around and we'll answer that very question.
Porsches just ain't as cheap as they used to be, with this Carrera GTS now demanding supercar money. These days you're looking at around $280K for a cheaper 911, but if you want this barnstorming Carrera GTS, you're looking at more like, deep breath, $381,200. If you want four-wheel drive, a cabriolet roof, or both, the prices only climb from there, with the GTS range topping out with the Carrera 4 GTS Cabriolet listing at $437,900. In Germany's defense, the Porsche has gotten progressively faster and more powerful over the years, and that's true again with this T-Hybrid version, but we'll come back to all that tech stuff in a second. Outside, it rides on staggered alloys, which are 21-inch at the rear and 20-inch at the front, and there are standard matrix LED headlights, vertical mounted active cooling flaps, and you can have it as a hardtop, a Targa roof, or as a full cabriolet. The biggest updates, apart from the driving stuff, of course, occur in the cabin, where the 911 is now push-button start and introduces a new digital dashboard, which defaults as a digital version of the old analog setup. The screen is 12.6 inches, and there's a second 10.9-inch screen in the center of the cabin, which does all your phone streaming. There's also a Bose surround sound system, 14-way adjustable comfort seats, and digital radio.
Now, when it comes to design, outside you would have noticed they have completely rethought the way a 911 should look. I'm just kidding, of course. It looks pretty much the same. There's new air vents and new exhaust, but that traditional 911 shape has and probably always will remain. Instead, they focus the changes here in the cabin, where there's a new digital dashboard, which is kind of an on-screen representation of the old analog dash. There's a new steering wheel, some new levers, and the introduction of push-button start. But apart from the new tech, it really is evolution over revolution.
The Porsche 911 is known for a lot of things, but vast acres of space with loads of practicality perks just ain't a part of its portfolio. This new 911 measures around 4.5 metres in length, about 1.8 metres in width, and around 1.3 metres in height, and it rides on a 2.4-ish wheelbase. Luggage space is a paltry 135 litres under the bonnet, plus whatever else you can fit in your pockets. It also weighs a minimum 1,595 kilograms or up to 1,745 kilograms, but Porsche says the hybrid tech only adds around 50 kilograms to the total curb weight. A new 3.6-litre petrol engine has been developed for this T-Hybrid, which combines with two electric motors to produce a total 398 kilowatts and 610 newton meters. Now, it's only available with Porsche's very good 8-speed PDK automatic, largely because the brand admits that it would be, well, unpleasant to drive as a manual. Now, there's a lot of magic at work here, and I don't want to bore you, but the Porsche setup sees a lightweight 1.9 kilowatt-hour battery placed basically in the middle of the front axle, and a 12-volt battery now placed behind the front seat. Then a tiny E-motor is part of the gearbox. It's just 55 millimeters long, and it delivers up to 150 newton meters at low speeds to supplement the petrol engine. Now, it's joined by what Porsche calls an electric exhaust gas turbocharger, which essentially removes the spooling time from the turbo, delivering instant power. The aim of the game here is excitement, not efficiency, and the launch control aided sprint to 100 kilometers an hour takes just 3 seconds, or around 0.4 of a second faster than the model this one replaces, and yet somehow it feels and sounds faster than that. And the latter is important, with Porsche aware that if the new powertrain didn't sound good, nobody would buy it. Porsche in Australia is yet to lock in local fuel use for the Carrera GTS T-Hybrid, but international testing has it at between 10.5 and 10.7 litres per 100 kilometres, with CO2 emissions of between 239 and 244 grams a kilometre. Now, those aren't exactly Toyota Prius numbers, I'll grant you, but again, that was never Porsche's intention. The electric power on offer here is intended to improve acceleration, not fuel use. Now, it's fitted with a 63-litre tank, which should deliver a driving range of around 600 kilometres per full tank, according to those numbers.
Now, Phillip Island is a scary race circuit at the very best of times, especially in a car as fast and as powerful as this one. But this 911, just like all 911s really, has this incredible ability to remove those fears. It feels so comfortable, so capable. You're never really worried about finding its limits, because I can pretty much guarantee it has more talent than you do, or at least than I do. Now, the idea behind this T-Hybrid powertrain is not about eking out litres per 100 or CO2 emission gains. It's really about delivering more power where you need it. So the concept is that all ICE engines, especially turbo-powered ICE engines, have a sort of a lag in their power delivery. There's soft spots in the way they deliver their power. This T-Hybrid system is designed to plug those gaps, so it floods those sort of soft areas with extra power, making the acceleration just constant. In fact, it feels a little bit like the way an EV might accelerate, this constant flow of power, but there aren't too many EVs that sound or feel like this. Now, it is a little bit heavier than the car it replaces, about 50 kilos, mostly owing to the new electrics, but you just can't feel that in any meaningful way. It still feels super lithe, super athletic, and a whole heap of fun. Now, interestingly, this is about as electric as a 911 is going to get, at least anytime soon. The brand says that obviously weight is kind of the enemy of a true sports car, and going to a plug-in hybrid or even a fully electric version would, in their words, ruin the 911. And I tend to agree, because if this is about as electric as the 911 is going to get, it's also about as good as the 911 gets.
The 911 arrives without an avalanche of active safety kit, but the key stuff is covered. There's airbags up front for the driver and passenger, side impact protection including thorax and curtain airbags, AEB with pedestrian detection, a surround view camera with parking lines, lane change assist, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and a driver fatigue monitor. The 911 Carrera GTS is covered by a pretty underwhelming 3-year unlimited kilometre warranty with servicing required every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres. Now, we don't have the hybrid specific service pricing yet, but as a guide, the last 911 split the services into minor and major and charged either $785 or $1,285 for each. The more things change, the more things stay the same, and the T-Hybrid might be an entirely new propulsion system for the 911, but the net result is unchanged: power, poise, and performance on tap.